Alrighty. So welcome to our workshop on Flipgrid. My name is Christy Goldman. I teach 4th grade at the Mary Kay Good School.
And I am Vicki Miles, and I teach at the Middleborough High School. This year I'm in the remote academy, so I'm fully remote.
Me as well. I didn't mention that, but awesome. So today we're going to be exploring this free online website called Flipgrid. And Flipgrid's slogan is to empower every voice. And it's an intuitive website where you can post a question or a discussion topic for students, and students can reply in video format so you can hear every student's voice each time you offer a question. So it's really easy to allow students to respond and to produce high engagement for students. So to start out, we thought we'd show you just this quick 1-minute video from Flipgrid's website.
Hola amigos. Hello.
Bonjour.
Let me speak. I'm going to be interviewing my mom on my tacos.
Climate change बहुत serious subject है.
I'm gonna be drawing an eye. J'aime beaucoup lire parce que ça me permet d'aller dans un univers différent.
We should just be accepted in this world, and that's really important to me.
Oh, and I got caught up.
Check this out.
I look to music as a form of therapy.
It's gonna be delicious.
Я живу возле воды, возле реки Сена.
No, come, don't.
I had no.
O que é importante é sua paixão, tá?
So we got an eye here.
It worked. Yeah. I want to see other people's perspectives.
I want to see you. I want to see what you like to do.
So as you could see in the video, students can respond to a prompt or question using video and really show you what they're thinking. They can annotate their video, and it's really simple and easy to offer this as an option for students to create a discussion topic. And it works great for students all the way from pre-K and K through the high school level. So it's a great way to increase your student engagement online.
So at the high school, I am this year teaching Algebra 2. And it's some high-level math, and it's all the work that you all do at the younger grades. We all benefit from all the foundation that you have laid. So this was a prompt that I gave my students. I asked them to grab a frame from one of our Jamboards and to graph the function that was there in the equation form, and then to go to Flipgrid and explain their solution. And so this is one of my students, and she and her dad, who teach, the dad teaches actually special ed math at the middle school. They have given me permission to share her video response.
And then for this one, I did, okay, so I did frames number 2 and number 6. So I'll start with 6 because that's just where I was. So first for this one, I found the the roots, and so the roots would be -2 and 1, which would be a double root because it's squared, and then 3. And then I found the y-intercept by setting x equal to 0 in this equation. So when I added and subtracted all these, I got -2 times 1 times -3, which is +6. So the y-intercept will be 6. And then I knew since this is a negative leading coefficient, I knew that that the right end will be going down, and since it's a positive, I mean not positive, an even degree, because x, and then 2x is here, and another x, that's 4. So I knew the ends would be going the same direction, and they'd be going down because of the negative. So I graphed through here, went through -2, up to the y-intercept, and then down to -1 and bounced off of it because it's a double root, and then up and then through 3. And then for this one, I did.
And we'll stop there. And I just, of course, that just brings so much joy to your heart when your student shares their thinking and their deep understanding of what you've been teaching and learning with them. You know, even though we have our Google Meets and even though students can unmic, how often do you hear that much from a student? So yeah, so that's a pleasure to use. And what I did recently, right before this, I think it must have been, I don't know the date that it was, but it was, I wanted to put a tweet out on my Twitter page. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't know, like a couple hundred. And I just threw this question out there. And oh my gosh, the responses came pouring in. It was, I have never, ever put a question out there on Twitter and had this much enthusiasm. So just what do you love most about Flipgrid? And in came pouring all of these ideas, not just math teachers, people who teach dance, people who teach English, people who teach foreign language. And what they love about it is how real, how authentic the kids are in their responses. And then I just, for giggles, just tonight, I actually just clicked on the analytics. I didn't even know that was a thing on Twitter. But look it says 1,082 people have engaged with that simple prompt. That just tells you teachers love this tool.
So we thought a good way to get started with any educational tool, but especially Flipgrid, would be to put participants in the shoes of our students. So we created a Flipgrid response, and we're going to ask you to respond to that response. We're going to put the link in the chat to it's just a quick, simple response. It doesn't have to be anything super fabulous, but it will give you a chance to see what it looks like when you send a Flipgrid to your students and the process they go through to respond. So Vicky is going to put that link in the chat for you. And if you need,
I just want to find out, has anybody ever responded to a Flipgrid prompt before? Oh, you have, Cami, but no Susan, and yes for Melinda. All right. So any tips for those of us who haven't done this? Is it pretty intuitive? You think something?
I think it is pretty intuitive. I did it when I was in college, so it's been a few years, but I feel like I had a pretty easy time with it. So
okay, great.
We'll see how it goes.
Christy was going to say, if you do have trouble and you know it's been a long day and maybe your brain isn't so clear right now and you want us to kind of walk you through that process, we're going to stay on the main call. But I'm sorry, Christy, you go ahead and give the rest of the instructions on that.
Yeah, so if you just click on the link in the chat, it's going to launch you onto this page for Flipgrid, and you can use this Join with Google button, and it will connect through your Middleborough Public Schools Google account, since that's what you're logged into to join us here on our meeting. And we were going to start the timer for about 10 minutes to give you a chance to go in, look at the Flipgrid, and hopefully record a quick response, just introducing yourself and saying hello. So I'm going to go back to the slides and start the timer now to give you all a chance to check out the student perspective.
If you want to put your video on mute right now, then deal with your Flipgrid, like put the Google Meet video on mute. Then when you're done, bring your video back in. That'll cue us up that you're ready to talk about that. Thanks. Susan, can you hear me now? Do you want to go to a separate meet, just you and I, and we can kind of look at your thing together? I don't mind. Do you want to do that? I think you're muted, so if you're talking, I'm not hearing you. It's okay. Maybe it's happening. I'm going to mute myself now.
Sorry, I kicked myself out.
That's okay. How's it going? Did you get a chance to
I didn't get a chance to answer, but I'm gonna go. Hopefully, is the oh, not still in the chat. That's what I was looking for.
Well, I'll give it to you. Yep, that's right. When you lose the thing, you lose that link.
Yeah.
There you go, Susan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to just mute yourself on this call, Susan? If on your screen, the Google Meet screen, there's a video, turn off camera, and then there's that turn off microphone. If you just push those buttons, then when you're done on Flipgrid, you can turn on your camera back, so we get to see you that you're finished. Okay. All right. Have fun with it. Take your time. No pressure.
I have no idea if I did it correctly.
Oh, but you got it. But it seemed to work out for you. You were able to like push record.
I have no idea. We'll find out. It seemed to work.
I made a response as well, Vicky, so it should go to your Flipgrid account, I think. And
I made a
because I'm a
response too.
co-pilot.
Yeah, we'll wait for Melinda to come back, and let's see. Check your email because it'll go to your email if in fact it got uploaded. So check your email while you're waiting.
Okay. I was thinking I was running out of time, so I did it really quick. Let's see. Check my email.
No worries.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hey, Nicole. Nicole, I'm putting something in the chat here. How we doing now? Feedback? Christy, you unmute. I want to make sure we're okay, the two of us.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's a little bit of feedback. And Melinda's back.
Well, yes, I haven't submitted my thing yet because I was getting a lot of feedback from everything else, so it wasn't clear.
So Susan, could you keep your microphone off? Just the mute button, but don't leave the call. All right, Christy, we have our time. I mean, we actually have a minute we can spare. So do you want to look and kind of go off script and look at any of those or come back to those?
Sure, I can show what I can see now on our teacher end of it. So here is what it looks like. Here was our Flipgrid that we sent you off to record. And I can see now there are 4 responses. Vicky made a response, Sue made a response, Cammie, and myself. Melinda said she had a little trouble recording over the sound of the meet, which is totally understandable. But now, as the teacher that I sent you these responses, I can go in and, Vicky, do you mind if I just show what yours looks like? Awesome. So I can click on Vicky and go to play.
Hello there. My name is Vicky Miles. And my given name is Victoria, but I go by Vicky, V-I-C-K-I. And I teach high school math. I mostly teach algebra and geometry. I prefer working with underclassmen, although I love working with upperclassmen too. And I've been teaching 26 years. And of those, 9 years have been, 10 years has been in Middleborough. When I am not teaching, something I love to do that I can't wait for the good weather is to go kayaking or to go walking at the beach. So those are things I love.
Ooh, and there's our timer. That was perfect timing. So that would be Vicky's response. And I'm not going to show anyone else's for the sake of privacy. But as the teacher, I can perform some actions. I can hide her response. I can move it. We're able to do all sorts of things. But just as a quick way to check in with your students, to touch base, to hear their thinking, that's just the basic functionality of once you submit a response, here's how you can go in and check the responses that you got. So back to the presentation. We finished checking out the student experience. Next, we will go on to not play the video again, but instead talk about what was it like to check out Flipgrid as a student? How did you feel? What did it look like for you? So if you would please type some feedback about the student experience in the chat, but don't click send yet. We're going to do a countdown and all kind of send our feedback at once. So if you would please type your response in the chat, but hold off on hitting send. All right, I'm going to give a few more seconds for people to be typing in the chat, and then we'll do a quick countdown to send those responses. So what did you like about using Flipgrid as a student? We'll send in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Awesome. So we have some great feedback in the chat. It was easy to record. Cami thinks it's user-friendly, but worries about other students seeing responses. I'll show you about that in our, as we keep going, we can check that out. Good. Sue was trying to figure out her video. That's understandable. The first few times you use it, it is a little tricky to use the different features. And I wrote that I love that you can X out if you make a mistake or want to try again or stumble over your words, which I do all the time. So the next thing we'd like to know is, did you experience any recording challenges? So what did you find challenging about using it? And we'll do the 3, 2, 1 again. So I'll give a little bit of time for you to write in the chat. And then when we count down, we can all send at once. All right, so we're going to do a quick countdown. You're writing in the chat about some recording or any other challenges you faced as a student. So we will send in 3, 2, 1, second blast off.
Wow, did I delete it?
It's okay.
I am so agreeing with you, Cami.
So I said it's challenging if you're not used to it. Melinda said she was having trouble with the editing features, and I think those are kind of, you have to stumble your way through them as you're getting used to it. I agree. And there were a couple of questions about how to reset if you start recording and want to try again. So I'm going to model that quickly if you all don't mind going into that realm a little bit. Hang on, I'll switch tabs and show you what it looks like. So here's what it would look like if you just went to the Flipgrid response we were sharing. So you go to record a response, and it will bring up the camera. Now I'm in 2 places at once, a little crazy, but it will bring up the camera. So if you start recording, it will count down 3, 2, 1. You start recording, you're talking, you're feeling great, and then you accidentally make a mistake. I said the flowers were yellow and I meant that they were pink. Oh no. Pause is how you stop your recording. And then you can click this back arrow that says retake, and it will delete your first take and allow you to try again. So I'll show you what that looks like. This little back arrow here that's red that says retake, you just click on that and it says, are you sure it's going to delete the clip you made? And you're like, yeah, that wasn't so good. I want to try again. You click confirm and then it goes, you got this, try again. Super encouraging. I love that message. I did that twice when I recorded my quick response. So that's how you can try again if you make a mistake. And here on the effects, this is where you can get a little creative. I saw a couple comments about that in the chat. So you can add frames, you can add photos, you can really get as creative as you want. And students love this feature. They love that they can kind of dress things up and, you know, show their own personalities and creativity. So these are the different effects. I used the text effect on mine where I put my email in case anyone had any other questions that we don't answer. You could check it out there. But yeah, you can write on the screen, you can share your screen, you can use a filter, you can use a frame. It's super fun for students. Did that answer your question about, you know, how to record and using some of these tools? I know that it takes a little playing with them to get used to, but I think that it's good to know, especially how to go back and try again. All right, so we are going on from the student experience. I want to show you a little bit more about the teacher experience and what it would be like to once you've created your account to create a topic for students to respond to. So this is really, you know, the nitty-gritty of how you would implement this with your students. And this is the screen I'm going to show you now, logged into my account. So on my account, one moment, I would create a group for my class. For the purposes of this activity, I'm in a group for the tech team, but you would have each, Cami, you would have your different classes as a group, right? And for elementary level, you would just put your, you know, group of kids you're with all day. So you would go to your class, and then within your class, you can create topics. These are like the assignments that students respond to. So I'm going to click here on add a topic. This is how you create an assignment to show students where to go to respond. So when you click add a topic, this is the directions part where you're going to input the title of the assignment, the directions. So I'm going to play kind of the elementary role here. We took a look at a upper level response, which is awesome. So I'm going to show today kind of how I might use this with my students. So I might write, today is oral reading fluency practice. And I might have given my students, you know, something to read in advance, so they're doing a warm read of something, or maybe I'm just asking them to read aloud to me from a book. It's up to you. You can do this for anything. So I might write, okay, here's the prompt. Using the passage about Blue's Clues that we read yesterday, record yourself reading to Miss Goldman for at least 1 minute. So I want to hear at least 1 minute of good oral reading from each student. It's something I've given them before. Maybe you want to hear a cold read. I don't know. You can take it any way you want. And then, so here's if you had a video of the directions, if you had a picture to support your directions, if you wanted to link directly to the thing you wanted them to read, you could come here where it says add media, and you could add that picture of the article. You could add anything you like. Maybe you just want to add an emoji today. You just want to add like a smiley face, thumbs up emoji to encourage students to do their best reading. It just makes it a little more pretty, but it's optional. You don't have to. But it's great if you had a video with directions that you recorded, or especially for lower level students who might not be able to read the directions independently, you could record yourself giving the directions and post them here. So Then down here is where, Cammie, your question comes in about students might be self-conscious about seeing one another, and I totally agree with you. We figured professionally we could handle, seeing each other's responses, but when you're working with your students, this section here that says topic moderation, new videos and comments will be hidden from students until you activate them. So when you turn this switch on to green, that means all the videos come straight to you, and then until you approve them or activate them, other students cannot see them. So you could choose for this to be a private assignment. I just want to see what you can read, and other students might not see it. Or if you're doing a more social emotional lesson that you do want students to respond to one another, share each other's thinking, that's when you could let them know in advance, we will be sharing with our classmates or we won't. So it's up to you if you want to keep the topic moderation on or off, but I would encourage you to turn it on when you're giving it to your students, at least at first, so you can preview their responses before they go out to the rest of the class. But that is a feature on Flipgrid that we love. So topic moderation turned on. And then you can choose if your students can make comments on other students' work or not. So you can turn that on and off as you see, if they can respond with text or video. So if I wanted to respond to Cammie and say, "Hi, Cammie, it's great to meet you," I could respond, with a video as well, or just type, "Hi, Cammie, it's great to see you." It's all in these settings for you. And I know Sue had brought up she was worried she would run out of time. As the teacher on your end, you set how long students have. So I said students have to read for at least 1 minute. So I might limit them to 2 minutes or 2 minutes and 30 seconds, just so that, they have enough time if they want to keep going a little more, but I know that I'll at least get what I want. Or if you just really want that precise 1 minute cutoff, you could choose 1 minute recording time, and it will limit the student to that amount of time. It spans from 10 minutes at the longest to 15 seconds at the shortest. So it's really up to you to customize what you're working on. There are a lot of advanced settings in this more option, but for the purposes of our introductory activity together, we're just going to be doing, these basic settings for student safety and engagement. So this is how you would create a topic to send out to your students. So I'm going to click Create Topic. And then it generates your link. So it will say, okay, here is your topic. Your topic is ready, and you can copy and paste this and send it in the chat of your Google Meet to your students. You can post it to Google Classroom. You can share the code other places as well. You can even make it a QR code if you're hybrid and need something for students to scan. The options with Flipgrid are really open. So Vicki and I don't know if you want to give the directions for this part.
Yep. Hold 1 second. So at this point, once you've made your prompt, you're going to click the copy button. And then you would paste it into your Google Classroom or here into the chat. So we're going to ask everybody on this call to make a fun prompt. Now, I'm wondering, Christy, when they make their, so they're going to need to join Flipgrid as a teacher. That's for starters. Right. They're going to sign up for Flipgrid as a teacher using the Middleborough Gmail account. You're going to create a simple topic or a prompt. Can you go back to your topic for a quick moment? And is it open that anybody, like, you don't have to be a teacher on the, you don't have to be a student in the class to answer that prompt, right? Like what are your settings like, Christy? Because they're going to need to know that.
So for my settings, I do not have it set that only students in the class can answer the prompt. So it's anyone with the link can answer the prompt. I'll try to pull up where that setting is, but I think to get started, going in and signing up, click that create a topic and kind of check out your options as a teacher.
Yeah. And so what you're going to do is exactly that. We'll leave these instructions up for you to follow. You will have 12 minutes to do all of this. And so in 12 minutes, you'll create a fun prompt for us. I mean, I know what my prompt is going to be. It's going to be last night. Well, I don't want to say too much. I'm just going to put a prompt out there that I hope will be interesting for you to answer. And then when I'm done with my prompt, I'm going to share that link and put it in this chat. When you're done with your prompt, put your link into the chat. Once you're done with your creating your topic, you're going to click on other people's prompts and answer their prompts so that they get the experience of fielding and moderating and seeing those responses as they come in. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, any questions before we set the timer? So this is just a fun prompt for us, okay? All right. And once again, let's put ourselves on mute from this call. Let's put our videos on mute in this call, but come back when we're done after we've completed most of those tasks. All right, great. Cammy, check the chat. We couldn't get in. I wanted to answer yours, but I couldn't get in.
Mine was so good too. It was about toast.
I'm sure it was, and I was bummed.
Okay. I don't know why. Sometimes the chat doesn't always move up. I'll fix that.
Oh, gee. That was such fun, everybody. I literally wanted to answer everybody's.
I had a lot of fun too. I got to answer Melinda's and Nicole's so far.
Awesome.
But not to everyone. But if you want to check them out later, you could click on the links in the chat and open them up in a tab for after our Google Meet ends here. So hopefully you were able to put in the chat your link and get at least one response so you can see what that looks like on the teacher screen.
Hold on, Susan. I think you might have put your camera on, but your sound off. Shut off your mic, okay, Susan? But turn on your camera if you want, definitely. Yay! Okay, good.
Yeah, so if you want to open up other people's links from the chat and hold on to them for after the meeting, that would be great. Hopefully you got to make an account and check out at least one response. If you still need a little more help, don't worry. We will be here to help you this week. It's not going to end with today's meeting, but we do want to make sure we stick to our time and schedule. So next we had a little bit of time for you to answer some questions about the teacher experience and overall how you're feeling about Flipgrid. So I am going to be launching some questions in the polls section. I'm going to launch first, what is your initial impression of Flipgrid? Then how do you find the tool to use as a student? And finally, how likely are you to use Flipgrid in your teaching? So those questions can be found in the polls. To get to the polls, you click on the shapes in the top right-hand corner. So it's a triangle, a square, and a circle. And when you click on those, you can click polls, and you should be seeing the polls now, where you can respond to our exit questions.
Do you all use the polls with your students? I'm just curious. You've used these? Is that a common thing that people do? Yeah. Christy's going to show us after this something that you may not have used before.
It looks like people are finding them, which is awesome. I'm getting some good feedback in here. I'm going to click to show you the results of how members of our group are answering now. So if you go back and check them out, you can see how other people are feeling, which some people are feeling like really excited, ready to get started. The consensus is we need a little more time and practice before we use it with our students, which totally makes sense. Absolutely. And Vicki and I hope to be available to help folks out with that testing and trialing and getting more comfortable before we're ready to use it with our kids. So lastly, this is the feature Vicki was talking about. If you have any other questions about Flipgrid or anything we didn't go over, obviously it was just a quick overview today and only an hour. The question and answer section of our meeting is open. So if you go to the shapes where you found polls and you click on Q&A, you can click ask a question and submit any question there that you'd like me and Vicki to answer for you. That will be available until the end of this meeting. It will be up and ready for you to type any questions you might have. But we wanted to mention, too, that we are hosting follow-up hours with Flipgrid. So if you are one of the folks who answered in the polls that you want to get a little more time with it or would like to practice a little more before implementing with your students, we will be online on Google Meet on Thursday afternoon. So we're going to take shifts so that hopefully we can cover more people who might want to hear more about Flipgrid. And if you are excited about Flipgrid, you can encourage other people who weren't able to make today's meeting to come to those times too. That would be so great. So we will have those follow-up hours. We have a few more minutes. Vicki, do you want to say anything to close?
Oh, I just loved being with you guys. I wish I had more time to answer everybody's little prompt there. So that's it. And
Yeah.
And hey, we're learning together. I mean, honestly, I'm no expert. I just know that if my little tweet got that much traffic on Twitter, that this is a tool that can be quite nice to use with students. One of my students, when we finished our Algebra 2 class, I had asked for feedback about the class, you know, and what was a memory or what was a fun part of the class. And this one student said doing the Flipgrid responses was different, and I really looked forward to them.
That's so awesome. So if you don't have any questions to ask in the Q&A, this is going to be the end of our meeting here together. We totally appreciate you coming and listening to us gush about how much we like Flipgrid, and we will have these follow-up hours later this week. I hope you try it out with your students, and if we can do anything else to help you take that risk as a educator, we are here to help. Our emails are here on the screen, and don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Thank you so much.
Pleasure working with you all. See you soon.
Thank you so much. That was great.
Ah, Cammie, thanks for coming. It's so nice to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you too. We'll have to catch up soon.
I know.
Bye.
Bye.